Okay. Back again. Let's hope my kids stay asleep for long enough. But until then, let me get started. I will promote on whatever I can, because I think this is going to be a pretty interesting build. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know how many people got a KBDFans Odin. Meh. I should probably figure out some way to group things so I don't have to keep scrolling endlessly every time. But, you know, is what it is. I guess I will continue to post in Keep Life. Seems like a good place to be. Why not? I mean, Treehouse seems to be an okay place to go to. Since they're on the correct side of the world, they might be awake. Yeah, is what it is. I realize I stream at times when it doesn't make sense, but it only makes sense to me because this is the only time I have. Feels old. I don't think these sites have any. Where else can I post this? I struggle with this every single time. I really just need to make a thing. Saw your VOD building an NK6087. Know your opinion about the board. I think if you wanted a cheap TKL, I would rather get the entry edition. I think that's more bang for the buck worthy. Whereas the aluminum variant, I don't think is worth it for how stiff it is. I think fairly overall, it's okay for what it was maybe like a year ago. But now with other boards like the FB TKL coming out from Keeps for All, I think it's going to run into the problem of not being a viable solution for the market that it's really entering. So, yeah, that's my personal opinion on it. I still think it's a good board. If people wanted a TKL that's aluminum, for now, until the Keeps for All board comes out. And then I'm not so sure after that. Just from listening and hearing what other people's boards are doing for the Keeps for All TKL, I think that'll be a better board overall. I'm still going to give it away to a friend because they don't have any custom keyboard, and it'll be better than a lot of the boards that you can just get off of an open box store, you know? But if you're already in the hobby and you already sort of have a feel for softer keyboards, I kind of don't think it's that great, personally. Yeah, I don't have permission to write in the KBDFans server. That's fine. Guess I'll skip that. Let's see. Swag keys. I always post in there. Why not? I'll keep that up. I'll post in Geon server too, because why not? Sometimes people randomly just want to see a keyboard being built, so why not? Parallel, I don't think has anything. I don't think Monoke has anything. Could post in their Combini, but I always feel like I'm taking advantage of that. And then Z reviews, because apparently I'm like the only person that shows himself and promotes yourself on Z reviews Discord. Apparently he's still a thing. Alright, enough of that. Let me break out the board. Oh, this thing's heavy. Okay. So I have to say, this box is way nicer than what I originally thought this would be. I saw the pictures on Discord, and I was like, this box looks freaking awesome. Magnetic flap, KBDFans Odin, I guess, with birds and the many triangles in the symbol. Kind of neat. And then I got extra gaskets because apparently I get extra gaskets all the time. Who knows when, you know, gaskets might be useful. I didn't realize it came with, these look like cherry plate, no, cherry PCB mount stabs. I didn't realize it came with these. I'm not going to use them. I've already lubed up some others to be used for weight bar. I've already put the weight bar on. I have way more foam than what I thought I would have had, but yeah. I'm probably not going to use plate foam unless it starts sounding weird, but hopefully it will not sound weird because I'm not going to use this brass plate. I do not like brass. I'm not a fan of brass. So I will be maybe using this foam for the case. It seems thin enough. I'm gonna try without first, but we'll see. I'll keep that near the top. We have the PCB and what looks to be a not that ESD safe bag. Always a fun choice. And the plate I'm using is the polycarbonate because I like polycarbonate plates. They're okay. This one's like 1 to 1.5 millimeter thick. It's not the thickest. Nice and flexible. Has flex cuts in it. Should be okay. Just have to make sure it fits switches well. I need the JST connector, cable, screws. This looks like a unified board rather than a proprietary, so that's always good to see. Yeah, and then finally we have the case itself. And looking at it, it only had a few anno marks on inside for, looks like, hooks, but other than that, anodized job looks to be quite good on it. And the brass weight bar adds quite a bit of heft, centrally located, and feels nice. But it's an external only weight, so I don't expect it to change the sound that much. So unless you just like shiny things on the back of your keyboard that don't really provide acoustics, I mean, it sort of is what it is. But overall, interesting. I'll put this back in the box, put this lid back on so I don't scratch anything, hopefully. And let's test out the PCB. I took out the daughter board, yeah, okay. I'm gonna need that daughter board. Alright, PCB. Turn it the right way up. Pretty clean. Has 2 LEDs built in for indicators and 4 for the little symbol. Pretty nice looking. Has flex cuts. I didn't realize it had flex cuts until I pulled it out. On the back, it has a STEM32 controller on it, so should do everything that we need it to do. I don't know if it's loaded into VIA, but I guess we'll find out. Did not check beforehand. No under lighting on the back of the board, nothing really to worry about. Resets on the back of the board too. And I guess we'll plug it in and we'll see what happens. Alright. One thing I cannot afford to lose are these screws. Come on. Fingernails. Get it in there. Alright. I'll have to put the daughter board into the case at some point. It actually has like a lower drop down slot too. Let me pull up VIA on the screen and let's see if it shows up. I don't actually know if it was integrated into VIA. Hey, it is. Excellent. Okay. Let's change layout right now. Default. ANSI. Oh man, that's bright. My eyeballs. Left shift default, right shift default. Pad plus, that's fine. Pad enter, fine. Bottom row, 7U. Was there any options down below here? I can't see the options. Yeah, 7U is fine. I want 7U. Okay, so I don't need to do any of that. It only comes with 2 layers. Interesting. What's on? They just... Huh. Confusing to me. Okay. I'm going to need to change this to delete. I know I will not like home being there. If delete is not there, things will not go well for me. Insert's fine. Print, I guess. I know, let's make print caps lock because I never use caps lock here. I'll always use a layer key. Let's make that to layer 1. And this is just my weird personal layout preference. I don't know why they've bothered to show the full mapping for keys rather than just hit the down pass through. I guess that's a choice they can make. So left, down, right, up. I always like arrows going here. Yeah. It looks like it only has... I don't know why... Okay. Do I want step caps with this? I might do steps caps even though I have this as a function. That's going to need to be passed down through. What else needs to be passed down through? Backspace, delete. Why is this? That should be backspace. Delete, caps, whatever. I'll figure some of this layer stuff out later. Key tester. Wasting time, sorry. Alright. I'm putting this blue light where you can't see it. Because I know that would offend my eyeballs. I just saw the indicator light go on, so that's good to know. Okay, so they're all electrically active. Interesting. Ugh. Okay, that's... hand position's a little bit annoying, but these solder pads are so big. I guess it's a benefit if you're gonna try to mil-max, but honestly, since I just straight up solder everything. Is this not? What? Okay, it triggers, but... that's sketch. But it should work. So I bought this board originally thinking it would be good to have a board that's pretty much a full size. Not really sure how often I'd use a board like this now. Originally I thought, oh, I'll take this into work. It'll be a work board, you know? Statement piece, something cool and interesting and quirky all the same that shows my hobbies. Then more I thought about, I'm just like, I bring a keyboard into my office every day. That's different because now I have enough to do so I may as well just keep that up, right? I don't know. Wait, go away. Go away. Alright, I'm going to have to figure out which of these switches and what layout, because this is 1.5 here, and this should be like Sangan here, with the 7U here, I think. I will refer to the KBDFans website. Oh, blue lights in your eyes, sorry. Let's get rid of this thing for now. Carefully take this out. Put it back in the bag so I don't lose it. And let's throw some stabs on. Now, trigger warning in advance, I am mixing and matching stabs because between my last few builds, I just had random stabs laying around. Did a little bit of tuning them first though. So, got the 7U stabies working, I think, at least on this test board. I'm still going to try to use a BCP, which might really mess with the stabie, but we'll see. If it really messes with it, I'll change it out for something a little bit more reasonable, stem size-wise. It's been my experience with stabies so far that they're pretty good. Unless you have a long pull switch, they can cause some issues. And if you have a very flexible PCB, like with flex cutout for a spacebar, similar to Thera 75, you might also have some issues. But this board has a nice solid PCB for the 7U, so I don't expect it to have issues. I don't know why I didn't unclip this first. Yeah. I feel dumb. Hopefully I didn't damage anything. Alright. As you might see, I've plugged the butt of these, so it should be okay. I don't think I put too much in. I think it's just enough. We'll see though. Another thing with stabies, they don't like to be fit to the PCB too tight. So I'm just putting it so there's some pressure on the silicone O-ring, and then I'm backing it out just a quarter turn. So some pressure on, and then backing out a quarter turn. They shouldn't move around, they shouldn't rattle, you shouldn't hear them, but they should be somewhat free. Alright. Now I can put this head away, unless I need to adjust them, and we can get to the other stabs. So the next I'm going to put on are the Gateron ink stabs. I have like a few boxes of these, but I didn't want to open up 2 boxes, so I decided to grab some just single Duroc V2 stabs to fill in the rest. Feels weird, I know, but is what it is, I guess. So the way I do my stabs is I always use 205 grade 0 on the housing and stems. Once they're lubed up, I make sure the wires are nice and straight, bending them as much times as I need to, and then after that, XHT BDZ on the wire, and then I plug the butt if I feel I need to. And since I did it to all of these, they should be fine, even after I put them into a new board. But I still will test them out, because you never trust stabs unless you test them. And if you haven't tested them, you don't know. I'm actually excited to get this build done, because it's been a while since I had like a full-size like keyboard on my desk. Maybe do a double take trying to figure out which hole was the big hole. Hey. Eyes aren't what they used to be. Oh, there goes the washer. Crap. Alright. Moving right along. Apologies about the furnace noise. It's cold. I'm on the East Coast. It's winter. It'll be there. It'll just roar for a little bit until we get crisp on, and then I fire this up. But then it won't be noticeable. I do like crisp for taking out the noise of my soldering fume extractor, but I think it does have some unwanted coloration to my voice when I'm just talking with it, if nothing else is going on. So there's my tepid endorsement of that product. It's definitely better than hearing fan noise. You sort of still sound like you're underwater to some degree, which isn't the best. I just could not get RTX voice running for free, so I'm just like, forget about it. That's a tight fit. Usually they orient stabs in different directions for the enter and the right shift, but this has them oriented in the same direction, meaning that the washer came off, meaning that they're very close, almost touching, which is a little bit worrying. Very close. Probably can't see it on my potato camera, but let me hold the PCB closer and see if you can see it. The wire in the back of the stab housing, super tight, which if anyone is looking to design PCBs, that might be a consideration you might want to take into consideration. Wow, that sounded super redundant. I guess I meant to be redundant to some degree, but not that redundant. Apologies. My wordplay is slipping. I blame my daughter for that. She had me read Socks on Fox today, and that is just a tongue twister just for the sake of being a tongue twister, I guess. I hated it. My wife was just sitting there silently laughing and giggling. I was just like, yeah, okay. I want you to read it. But of course my daughter just wants me to read it. She just needs me to suffer more. It's okay. I love her, so I do it. I'd much rather have her be a person that likes reading and enjoys it and has fun with it rather than not, but any other book besides that, please. But if she knew I didn't like reading it, she'd actually probably make me read it more. Anyways. Alright, 2 more to go. These last 2 are Duroc V2 stabs. In testing, I did again hear the clear difference that you can hear more of the bottom out on the PCB with these, it sounds like. They also sound a little bit clearer as far as hearing switch, but they're also a little bit more prone to, rattles. So it is what it is. It's a trade-off in many different ways with all of these stabilizers. But I still think they're all comparable. I wouldn't be upset if I got any of these to work with. They're all still good stabilizers. They do their jobs. They can all be tuned to a reasonable degree of closeness. But that being said, I still do like the ink stabilizers for the moment. I haven't tried TX. I'm waiting for I think Block 67 and Portal 65. Yeah, I'm waiting on those 2 boards to come in before I really test those. I wanted to test those, but I just didn't have a gummy O-ring board to test them on. That I didn't want to, bother rebuilding. But beyond that, I do like the new stabilizers coming out. Nothing's really innovating us away from the traditional issue with stabilizers, but that's sort of like a foundational thing, and everyone struggles with it. No one likes stabilizers. Yeah. Since this is on the edge of the board, I will actually screw it in a little bit tighter than I usually would. Should be okay. Alright, once we get these done, I can break out the switches I want to use and test these. Doing something a little bit different this go around than what I usually do for stabs or for just switches in general. Wait. I unscrewed it, I didn't take it out. But I will be using long pull switches on pretty much all of the stabilized keys. I just want to try that out with this board and see if I like it. Since there's so many stabilized keys, it gives me more options to test. So why not? Because I find sometimes stabilized keys sound weaker than other keys. Sometimes you get less of a sound out of them. Other times it's just trying to force it in there. Other times it's, just not that great sounding. But wanted to try some different things since I do use a black cherry pine pretty much all my builds for the spacebar. I thought may as well try out slightly longer pull. So I'm going to be using Kale Black stemmed Cherry MX Blacks. Same thing I used in my Frog TKL actually for the stabilized keys, and see if that makes any difference. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. If anything, hopefully it gives the stabilized keys a little bit more life. I don't know. I always like it with black cherry pies and the spacebar, but I just want to try something new with the rest of the keys. And drink some tea before I get too into it. Hot tea, always good. Alright, Hyperglide blacks with kale stems and black cherry pie. And which one? It's this one, I think. Actually, let me get the plate. Before I forget to build the plate, because I can't build this plateless. I guess I need a few switches to plop in here. So I've also decided to use these switches for the numpad. The main reason here is I actually ran out of some of the switches that I was reclaiming. So cheating. I am cheating with the switches. This plate is flexible enough that I have to break out a tool. First time using this, it's a little shim tool to help stabilize switches. I don't know if I can actually get it in there, but whatever. I'll be using it eventually. This plate is way flexy, so I'm not mix these up. Almost jabbed my finger. That's interesting. I didn't realize. Oh, never mind. I'm dumb. Let's pop that out before I break it. These are just north facing, or south facing, but they don't clip into the plate this way. What is going on? All right. Get all of those just situated. BCP in. Okay, this flexi plate's going to drive me a little bit nutty. Wait. Do I have to open these up to figure out which one was which? I think these were both long pull. I think. At some point I'll review the VOD and just be like, oh, I messed up. That's fine. Let's think here. This should be a 0 or a period or a 0. I forget what the layout is. I'll figure out the layout in a second. I wanted these 9 numpad keys. Oh, I guess I should use the rake thingy. I can't get it everywhere because there's stabilizers there. Interesting. It's a limitation I did not think of. But I can put it right next to it. Alright. Wait. That's a long pull switch. I'm losing it. I need to put these away after I take this one out. Alright. Back in the box you go. Off to the side you go. Don't want to mess this up. I have a process that I want to do. These switches are just not going to stay in. Okay. This plate's so flexible. Oh boy. How much frustration am I going to get myself into because of how flexible this PC plate is? Probably quite a bit, I'd imagine. So why does it feel like it's bouncing up here? So these are 5-pin switches here, so I can really push these down in once they get seated. All right. And then these should be good to go. Okay, this is actually good for the tolerances here. Ooh, okay. I like this tool now. Makes a lot of sense for doing this. All right, so is 0, I think period's here and then 0's over here, I think. I think that's how these boards work. It's been so long since I had a full-size keyboard in front of me that I don't actually remember. All right, and that should be enough to anchor those in. These switches are always just going to flop everywhere. It's going to be a disaster for these guys. Then I guess I need to throw in a couple on the rest of the plate. Looks like I need to do it in a few places. Since these are only 3 pins, it's not going to matter quite as much, but I need to get these in anyways. This is 1, 2, 5, so one would go here. And since there's like different sections of this, I have to figure this out a little bit. So I need one like here, probably another one like here. This plate tool is actually pretty handy. I'm actually glad I spent like the almost no money that it cost to get this little plate tool. This will actually save me quite a bit of time. I'm gonna guess this goes here. I'm going to guess that this goes here. Just from the spacing. This will probably also, should all be right aligned, I think, on the right hand side. I think. Is that enough to test switches? That's probably enough to test switches. Okay. So I have the space bar here. Let's test the space bar. I have to like hold everything down. I'm hearing the plate and everything rattle. This is awful. Oh, I hear my 1-year-old crying. Okay. Yeah, Rattle Nation. How's it going, Mashiki? Feels better if I like hold the rest of the plate down. Man, too much flexible. even with the Staby, this is actually still being responsive, so I guess it really just is a matter of having a PCB without a flex cut. Alright. How bad is this going to be when I take this off? Oh, everything stayed down. Interesting. Rather than get all the keys out, I'll just keep using one key over. Alright, I need to take my headphones off for this. Can't hear through the music. I'll keep the music playing so you don't just hear my, hopefully my 1-year-old quieted down. Okay, that's just plate rattle at the other end. We good with this one? Ooh. That just feels and sounds nasty taking that out of there. Just keep using the 0 key over and over again. This one, you can see it's kind of sluggish. I'm gonna have to redo this one, I think. Yep. Okay. All right. Backspace. I can still hear the entire plate shifting around as I hit the key. The battle's real. It'll be okay though. I think this will work. Although I do need to redo that one, so I need to take the plate off anyways. Rip. Oh man, the side key. Like hold the switch down. Wait, what's the difference? With this one, it's the wrong orientation. So with plates, usually it would have to be oriented this way. This is oriented this way because of the way the PCB layout is. And there's no place on the side of the switch for the switch to actually grab the plate, so it's just gonna flop everywhere. Same with this one. Alright, so I just need to redo one of the stabs, and that would be this one here. Rip. So much for being a quick build tonight. Alright, because this plate is so flexy, I'm going to actually have to remove each one of the switches individually, rather than just rip the plate off, like I am very tempted to do. Although once I get these 5 pins off, I think they might be the only 5-pin switches left. Because I checked when I was desoldering my old board, which I'm getting most of the switches from for this build, they're all 3-pin. Yeah. So long story short, I wanted to reuse switches from my old WASD Code V2 keyboard that I'd used for quite a while. The only problem is they had clicky ceramics greens in them, so I took all of these little maracas out and I replaced them with Hyperglide black stems that I happen to have laying around. So hopefully I have a better time with them. Cool. So if I don't lose everything first. Yeah, MX greens, ouch. I used the board for quite a while before I got in the hobby though. Now that I'm in the hobby, I'm like, there's better things. I keep trying to explain this to my wife, but she just disagrees. She's team clicky all the way. So, is what it is, you know? I agree to disagree with her taste in clicky switches. Although, ironically enough, one of the better sound test videos that I have is with a clicky board that I built for her. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure she will. Maybe. If not, is what it is. I tried. Alright. It was this stab. Let's take it out. Yeah, at some point during this winter holiday before she has to get back to work, I actually do need to finish restoring a keyboard that she had brought home from her office. An old Dell AT101W, an Alps board. So I'm looking forward to getting a chance to work on her Alps board. But, you know, we'll see. She won't let me linear mod it, I don't believe, so. Does this have too much lube in it? It might just have too much lube. I might be able just to carefully wipe away some of the lube. And then replug the butt if it needs to be done. For this, I'll use little PE foam wipe things. One side off at a time. Yeah, it's probably just too much lube. Let's see if this fixes it. I probably don't even need to plug the butt. There's probably enough lube in it. Ew. All right. And this is why we always test stabs, because Sometimes they're just no good. Even after testing on my Swag Keys test board, who knows? Alright, let me throw this back onto here. Line up the switches. Literally, in this case, for this bottom row. Holy crap. Alright. You just not want to... Alright. It's in there. Alright, if I hold it up. Yep, okay. Sounds good. Yeah. That's all I need for that test key. I'm going to put these two switches aside because whenever I flip it over, they'll come tumbling out anyways. Put my headphones on to vibe to some music again. Put my headphones on and immediately panicked there was no music. Luckily, it's just because it was between tracks. Alright. Let me get this soldering mat here, and I'll use this as a work base. So I don't think I can get... Okay. It's probably the best I can do for this row. Okay, this tool, no cap, actually super useful. If I had to deal with this flexible plate, this would probably make me cry a little bit without this tool. But with this tool, it saves me from having to go upstairs and bring out chopsticks or something. Alright, these are all 5 pins, so that should anchor that side of the board in pretty well. Hopefully I have the Sanguine bottom row correctly. If not, I am sure I'll just yell at myself later for not checking the layout. I'll probably have to do that in just a moment. Which means I have to get the keycaps out anyways. Organize some stuff by throwing it that way. Spacebar switch, special switch. Black cherry pie because why not? And I think these are all just regular switches. And I was going to listen to some of these before I put them into the plate, because some are scratchier than others. Since I've reclaimed them out of a mass-produced keyboard with cherry mixed greens in it, some of them are more used than others and smoother sounding than others. So let me take my headphones off, I'll leave the music on, and I'll just try to evaluate them on the fly as I populate this board. Wish me luck. These are all sounding amazingly well behaved. I'm I'm also sort of curious if this will give me problems because the greens were in them for so many years. Hopefully not. Okay, well these all sound alright. Let me start populating them into this bottom part here. Plate comb, I don't know what to call it, but this is actually super useful. So I did want to get this build out of the way and done with, because later this week I have a Keeps for All Freebird 60 coming. I'm actually anticipating that board quite a bit, even though it's a tray mount with, you know, small O-rings, just as a budget-friendly option, because I'm constantly looking for things to send to friends, and if I can just point them to a decent entry-level starter board to the hobby, I think that'd be a cool thing. So, the only sync, hello. SNK? Sync? I'm not sure. Hello, how are you? Alright. Finished 67 light a week ago. Nice. Yeah, so you can hear with this switch versus the scratch on this switch. This probably would have been like a mod or a non-alpha key that I rarely used. So I'm not going to put that in the alphas because that would drive me crazy. I was thinking about spending the time to cherry pick switches off stream, but yeah. Aqua Kings for a switch? Yeah, those are actually really good. They're the only switch that I've used so far with the factory lube, as is, and I use it on one of my daughter's boards. I was actually really impressed with them. They have a higher pitched sound than a lot of people probably want in the hobby at the moment, since everyone's chasing after the T word, but you know. Yeah, you don't even need to lube them. I thought they were good stock. I agree. I mean, it just gets bandied about so much, it's losing meaning, man. Want to get new stabs, though? Yeah. Pretty much, most aftermarket stabs are really good. I don't think you can go wrong with a lot of stabs. This one has a little bit of scratch. I'll put that to the side. Well, just use it here. Why not? I am not using the KBD stab, so these four are Gateron Ink. This one is a Stabies 7U because I had an extra Stabies 7U laying around and wanted to use it on something. And these are Duroc V2. I didn't realize it came with KBD stabs until I opened it up and saw KBD stabs. Which is, you know, my bad. I had already sort of figured and allocated I'd use different stabs. So this board's going to be sort of a hodgepodge of things. But the KBDFans stabs, they look a lot like cherry plate mount or cherry PCB mount stabs. So you'd have to like clip the legs and stuff, but other than that, they should work as usual. I'll probably end up saving those for a rainy day in case I need to use them. A little bit of scratch, but not too bad. Why not use all one brand stabs? Because eventually I'd have to use them anyways, and because I thought about just using all Gateron ink stabs, but I'd have to open like 2 boxes, and I'd have half for another project some other time, because they only come in like TKL size kits. So it's just the inconvenience of having to open up like an extra box, really, when I already had extra boxes open from other projects. Yeah. You didn't clip your stabs? You think you had to? Yeah, so most stabs nowadays actually don't come with legs on them. Whenever I bring out the KBDFans box again, I'll show you the little legs on the ones that you have to clip on the stems of the stabs. But they're pretty easy. There's lots of guides and tutorials on how to do that out there. I think the earliest one, well, one of the ones I saw early on when I was getting really into the hobby was Teha Types. That was like an older video though. Then recently put out a new one. I don't think he even mentioned it because not many of them actually come with legs on the stabs anymore. Built keyboard, 14 switches didn't work, had to wait to fix it. Oh man, that's rough. I don't know. I think a lot of entry keyboards, they should come with switch pullers, or at least I hope they would. Because especially people that are new to the hobby, building their first one, it would be a nice thing to have. Cognitive Wanderer, hello, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Switch fork, I see. Yes, very useful. I highly recommend it, especially with a plate like this that's just bouncing everywhere. Super easy. What keyboard is you're making? I'd never heard of it as a hobby. You just buy kits and assemble them, or do you 3D print parts? Can you mix and match kits? So let's go in order here. Keyboard I'm making is from KBDFans, our website, and I'm making their KBDFans Odin. That was a group buy kit. Yeah, Frank is everywhere. He is literally everywhere in this hobby. Custom keyboard hobby is fairly new. It's just a thing. A lot of people like building keyboards, and for me it's just fun to build, do stuff with my hands. I bought this as a full, I guess, a kit to be assembled. So in this case it's a PCB, a plate, which is this plastic thing you see here that's white looking, and an actual case, and you can add foam and other things to it. And to some extent they're interchangeable. So these little things I'm putting in here, these are switches. They're interchangeable among keyboards. You just would have to take them out, desolder them, or if they're hot swap, just yank them out. But other than that, stabilizers, these little things here, the stabilize your longer keys, they're interchangeable. Some PCBs can be interchangeable, but it really depends on what you're looking at. But there's tons of variety, and it's just another thing to do, especially if you would like to have a better typing feel, or a better feel when you're typing if you have to type a lot on the keyboard. It might be an interesting hobby to try to get into. What's another good brand like KBD? There's tons of brands and makers out there. So ones that I like currently, I do like a brand called Keybs for All. They just came out with their first few boards. They're relatively budget friendly and entry level friendly, and they still make decent products. I do like them. But there's tons of boards. There's other brands like Novel Keys is another one that's fairly big in the hobby at the moment. They make a few entry level boards called entry edition boards. They're quite good for the price. Yeah, there's quite a few out there. Never heard of NK. You've heard of NK, yeah. They're a pretty good brand. I recently built their NK87 aluminum, which was interesting, but I'd rather get other boards for that sort of price. Like recently, the one brand I'm trying to big up a little bit, Keeps for All, had put out a board that's in group buy now, which means it's a crowdfunding project that you can buy into now for a cheaper price. Does aloe give it a good thok sound? So boards all sound different, and I don't necessarily think it's aluminum that makes a board sound better. A lot of it has to do with the switch type and the plate type and materials. Yeah, it all depends on a lot of different factors for your board as far as what it will sound like and how it reacts to everything else. You can think of it like it's all part of a system and it all has to work together. Aloe is a high-pitched clack. Yeah, some people think that like that. I honestly think aloe is probably a good middle-of-the-ground sound for a lot of things. Can you order custom colors for the keys and make backlit keyboards? So if the PCB supports it, yeah, you could always add LEDs. LEDs are always fun to see. Honestly, a lot of people like RGB, and why not? What is the thing I'm sliding under? This is like a fork, I guess you could call it. It's to help stabilize, since this plastic is very thin and flexible. It helps me seat the actual switch in so I don't bend things too badly. Brass is higher pitch, but no one actually likes brass. Some people might like brass. I wouldn't talk it down too much, man. Although personally, I don't know too many people in the hobby that really like brass. Usually people coming in want a firmer typing feel because from, playing with other keyboards, especially pre-builts, stiffness is usually taken as a sign of quality. Hey-o, how's it going? Not bad. Welcome to the stream, man. Yeah. So would base 67 light be PC? Yes, that is PC. Save and go on a metal keyboard. Honestly, if you like a deeper sound, sometimes plastic and acrylic can actually sound deeper than some metals. I'll just put that out there. Don't rest everything on sound tests, but I would definitely try, a bunch of different sound tests from creators, get a good feeling for about what the consensus is that the community has around a certain keyboard and their sound, and then go. Have a link where you can check out kits. Honestly, just Google searching custom keyboards, KBDFans, Keeps for All is probably the best way. Because honestly, at the moment, I don't even have a keyboard attached. Apologies. And last two are these switches here, which I'm going to have to probably just hold in as I flip this over. Oh, and I must guess there's one here. Alright, will everything stay put? Yeah, everything except for these keys. Come on. Alright. Okay, did I screw the stabs in from the bottom? Yes. So these little screws here, here, and here. These are PCB mounted screw-in stabilizers. Alright, let me move some stuff away and get the soldering station ready. Could spring for a simpler 60 or Freebird TKL. But how are you, good sir? I am well, thank you. Thanks for stopping by in the 15 minutes you have before you have to do exams. Alright. Let me get the music on. Keyboard, and they screwed in from the top. Yeah, don't do that. That would be the wrong way to put in stabs, usually. I don't know of any stabs that actually screw in from the top, now I think about it. Looked like a cool hobby until you saw a piece of the DIY kits. Yeah. If you have PCB mounted stabs, always screw it in from the bottom, because the idea is you're putting the screw between the stabilizer itself and it's hooking in from that way. Come back and boot up your own stream. Cool. Let me start crisp. I'm going to sound like I'm underwater for a moment. Whenever that normalizes, I'll be able to hopefully talk and be heard. Put this over here. Move this down slightly, get the tip tinner ready. And now when I turn this on, it shouldn't sound like a fan. Oh good, you can't hear a fan. Excellent. Alright, let me get started. This is a flexi plate, so I might have to like solder in an anchor point and go from there. Hate soldering? I don't know, I like soldering. It's kind of therapeutic. That's just me though. Alright, so let the good old FX 951 heat up. And then here we go. Up to temperature, 350 is what I solder at. First two switches I'm going to get in are these over here before they fall out. Alright, I'm going to refold this and push down. Make sure it's seated nicely. Okay. And just like that, these two switches are done. SNK name of the brand, title, Shingeki no Kyojin. Oh yeah, the final season part 2's coming out. I forgot about that. Take out the E. I don't know, I need to catch up back up on my anime. I haven't watched anime in a while. Please don't stalk me, Lamau. Only SNK. Hey, thank you for the follow. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself here. Not bad. Hey, thank you for the follow too. Let this solidify, reflow, and push it in. Okay. Frostix773, thank you for the follow. Means a lot that you guys are following me. I feel uncomfortable with anyone subbing, so please don't do that. That'd be terribly awkward. But I do like to talk to people, so please follow if you can. That's the only self-promotion that I'll do on my own stream. Other than that, I'll just get to soldering. I guess I never did figure out which one is which for the bottom there. I should probably figure it out before I actually solder those in. Let me get these anchor points and stuff in first so I don't have to worry about the plate flip-flopping everywhere on me. Where am I from? Originally, I was born in South Korea, but the United States, more or less. So I won't do the bottom row because I'm not sure, except for the spacebar, of course, where anything goes on that. I sort of want to do steps capped, but I kind of don't want to do steps capped. Nice. You're from Canada? Sweet. Texas. Nice. So I usually don't get too many people from my East Coast time zone, so welcome everyone on the other time zones. Even though I have work tomorrow, I did want to get this board done, so. Loading V4. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I think I do want to switch this out to these step caps. EU gang. Nice. What is my profession? Quality. I work in quality. My first profession, though, was blowing things up, which was a lot of fun. But I no longer do that. It's 1 a.m. here, but I got COVID, so nothing to do. Aw. Hopefully you feel better. COVID's no fun. Become an aviation technician today? Oh, that'd be sweet. Yeah, go for it, man. What board am I building? I am building the KBDFans Odin. Alright. We have the sides pretty much in. Now I just need to get a bunch of stabilized keys in the middle, I think. And I don't have to worry about things really flying out everywhere. Got the Omicron variant. It's not that bad. Had COVID twice. I'm fully vaxxed. Oh man. That sounds like a lot of bad luck. Hopefully your luck turns for the better. Because even among vaccinated personnel, it's one of those things, Omicron seems to still be highly contagious. So I've been pretty cautious since I have 2 young kids that are not eligible for the vaccination yet. I want to make sure they stay in good health, so I'm trying to stay away from as many people as possible, even though I still have got to go into work every so often. First time I got COVID was before the vaccine came out, though. Ooh, yeah. Hopefully it wasn't too bad for you. I hear some real horror stories, even from young people with their first COVID experience. Anyway, this switch position is hella weird. Yeah, I think by this point, pretty much everyone in the world probably only has 1 degree of separation between them and someone that has COVID, or they've had COVID themselves. And with the Omicron variant, the math, the way it works out now, I think we're on track for everybody in the world being affected by COVID soon, which is scary. Yeah, not looking forward to that. I would have rather had, Delta variant, which is a little bit harder to transmit, even though it's, has worse outcomes, and just sort of had that be the last variant. But unfortunately, natural selection has worked again, and it sort of is what it is. COVID is never going away. It's just going to be a new thing like a flu or a cold. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be true. I'm just hoping that it will go the way of the flu as far as being a variant or a strain or a group of strains that we can predict, get a vaccine out, and have the bulk of the population get vaccinated, so it's not that bad in the future. I'm also hoping evolution goes the way it usually does with these things, and it'll become less lethal over time, because honestly, more lethal things are scary, but they rarely stick around, just because if they kill off all their hosts, they don't have a next generation to pass on to. But that's sort of a bleak way of looking at it. Hopefully, people get vaccinated, stay sensible, and we can sort of get this behind us for the world. I think that'd be a W for the world. But we'll see what happens. Being in the United States, I'm always hoping for the best, but my fellow Americans have let a lot of people down, let's put it that way. I need to get going. Good luck with the build. Hey, thanks for stopping by, though. And good luck on your aviation exam. Hopefully that goes well, and hopefully you get licensed. And because this is so flexi, I'm going to be paying attention to detail and pushing down each and every switch for the first leg, and then the second one will just flow solder on and should be good to go. These pads from KBDFans are actually nice and big, making this fairly easy and painless to do. At least so far, at least. It's making me want to put more solder on than usual. When Westerners arrived in the first North America, massive amounts of natives died. Eventually, native build up immunity. Same thing will happen with COVID. Lots of deaths at first, but will eventually get better. To some degree, but I really had hope that modern society and medicine would have progressed enough to mitigate that. In this case, it's not medicine letting us down, it's human beings really letting us down in many ways. Which is sad, because I think this is a preventable tragedy in many ways. I think at some level, you would have still had outbreaks, you would have still had a lot of people die, but I think it could have been mitigated in many ways. Because honestly, overall, I just think the loss of life, no matter who you're talking about, it's sort of all appalling at this point. Is there a way to lube my spacebar stab without removing it? Yes. You put the soldering iron down for a second, let it go to sleep. So if you pull up on the stabilizer, you'll see that there's a side where the wire comes in and a back side. You could try putting a little bit of lube with a fine brush or a syringe in the back. You want basically just to put enough in so it touches and coats the back of the wire to help prevent a little bit of rattling. Give that a try. That might help out quite a bit, actually. That method's called plugging the butt if you're ever looking at it. But, pull up gently on the back of the stab and then try to put in the back. No problem. Continuing soldering in the middle of the line here. once I put the solder in, again, I'm just reflowing it. Push it up against, and then I'm doing the second leg. Letting that cool, and then if I need to, I'll add a little bit more onto the solder that I reflowed. And again, with these very, very large pads, it's actually kind of hard. Lockdowns don't work. If you look at deaths per state, look at population per state, there's a good correlation. California has the most deaths, followed by Texas and Florida, which has also happened with 3 months populated states. Don't want to take my keyboard apart again. I've done too many times now. Feel your pain, but stabs are one of those things that sometimes you just got to take everything down and do it again, unfortunately. But as far as correlations go with population densities, I mean, you could look at other countries that are very dense in population, comparable to California, Texas, and Florida, and their rates and deaths don't correlate to us in the United States. It's partially, I want to say, a problem when you're looking at the policy and unwillingness to shut down and just stop moving. That's just unfortunately a bug in the system, I feel. And I don't want to get too political about it, but it's one of those things where if leaders want to do a certain thing, it could have been done a lot better as far as not losing lives. And that's just an argument from data. Not getting political about it, just, that's a pretty easy observation to make when you look at data overall. All right. So now I got those in. Let me just go through the top row and then work my way through the rows. I'll still check if I need to push these switches in or not. I'll still do it, why not? Lockdowns have worked in Canada for a while, but now everything's raising and we're locking down again. Stores capacities came in again and gyms shut down in the past 2 weeks. Yeah, I think honestly, Omicron might be a game changer for that last statement, where if you're really looking at how contagious Omicron is, I think it's at a different level. I haven't seen the recent R0 numbers on it, but I'm going to guess that they're just going to be stupidly high. Yeah, Omicron has changed my evaluation of a lot of things and policies. At this point, like I said, I don't think we could avoid the world basically not everyone being affected by Omicron. So stay vaccinated, because definitely being vaccinated does help your chances of not having worse disease and outcomes. If you're not already, that is. I was strongly considering talking to your doctor, as I'm not a healthcare professional, and trying to figure out what's best for you and your situation in life. Have I ever played Plague Inc? No, I have not, but I've seen other people playing it. Got to go now. When will you be streaming again? Honestly, my streaming schedule's kind of bad. I randomly stream whenever I have something to build. But I'm thinking right now, this coming Thursday, I'll probably be building again. But thanks for stopping by. Hopefully you have a good night. So Plague Inc., I know you could choose options with various plagues that you're sort of role-playing as. That's my understanding of it. But did you have a specific example you want to bring up? Enjoy your night. Keep entertained and answering my questions. Cheers. Yeah, no problem. Glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for stopping by again. Yeah, this PCB is making me want to use a ton of solder since it's that big. Just wondering if you played it. Actually, it's kind of educational when it comes to pandemics. You learn a lot about like how things and diseases are transmitted, how deadly they are, and different symptoms. Yeah, sounds like an educational or a fun educational-ish game. I'm trying to remember what streamers I watch play it. That was a while ago. I can only remember like what I did yesterday. I feel like a goldfish nowadays. In some way, I'm sort of, as bad as COVID is, I'm sort of on the side of some thinkers in line by saying that this could have been a lot worse. And if this does anything to help the world become better prepared for an actual like civilization ending style pandemic, that's probably for the better. But you know, yeah, it is still kind of bleak if I'm being perfectly honest. All right. But on to other things like keyboards and stuff. I am looking forward to probably taking an L on the first come first serve Glacier. That's a TKL that Create Keeps is putting out, plateless. That's one thing that I'm looking forward to. Even if I don't get one of the first come first serve in stock, I am hoping that I can join that group buy at least. That looks like an interesting TKL. And the year the TKL continues. Still haven't yet to hear an actual date for the angle that was coming out. I think that's probably just moved back. Any other any other hobbies besides keyboards? I was almost said keyboards besides hobbies. I'm being dyslexic again. So I still like audiophile stuff. I'm not quite as into it since I've been spending more money on keyboards and keyboard hobby. I like mice, for example. I used to play a lot of shooters, but since becoming a dad, honestly, I haven't had the most time to play shooters. So I still am interested in gaming. I just need to find time to actually do it. And those would be my main hobbies. And I guess, of course, the cop-out answer, because I'm a dad, would also be my kids. So yeah. I'm hoping to get them involved in video games, though, if I'm being perfectly honest. The older one, that's 4, not the most coordinated, takes after her mom, will probably just want to be ADD, run around and do random things that she thinks are entertaining. But the younger one, that's 1 in a few months, she's showing more promise in holding controller, being interested in what a mouse does and that sort of thing. So maybe there's hope yet that I'll have a gamer that I can play with. What kind of games do I like? So my friends recently have been playing a lot of 4X Civilization style games. Me personally, I am a big fan of shooters. So my background goes back to the 1.3 days of Counter-Strike when everyone had a CRT monitor. You tilted a keyboard because you needed more desk space in the little desks that keyboards or computers had at that point in time. And yeah, life was terrible. But you had games like Counter-Strike, and it was a lot of fun. I think that was like my first actual competitive shooter that I really liked playing. I played the heck out of it too. Then after that, I moved on to other games and stuff. I played a lot of StarCraft, Brewborn, and StarCraft 2. I like factory games, crafting games, RPG, and strategy games. So one factory game that I got really into was what was it called? Factorial? No. I'm forgetting the name of it. But basically you're on your own planet and you had a computer that allowed you to unlock different buildings and processes and things, and basically just made a factory world. That was pretty fun. I enjoyed that game. I was playing that for a little bit. What other crafting games? I guess Minecraft is always like the traditional crafting game. For that, I always enjoyed tons of mods. Like whenever I played that game, me and my friends, we would just create a server, throw all the mods in. That was a 3D game. Yeah. Um, yeah. But yeah, I was always a person to make something that auto mine to win the game in my mind, even there's no winning. Basically just allow my friends to do whatever they wanted in their limited time. But now that I am so limited time, I would actually have to like plan things better. Fandom Gaming. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Keyboard, build, yeah, build works. Cube. My current cube that I would have had on my desk is key round 2. Yeah. I guess I can just pick it up and show you. Yeah, I don't have all the commands set up. But yeah, this would be on my desk if I wasn't soldering right now. Win keyless key round 2. Pretty fun. I like this board a lot. I have the 50A and some Vin Blacks in it. Yep. Potato camera, sorry. I'll have to try to get the angle so you can see a little bit more of it. Yep, round 2. Lots of hobbies, but you bored of them quickly. Key cult? No, I don't have a key cult. I keep getting L's. Is the key cult what I need to join the big boy club? Yeah, key's a board for Monoke. Never heard of it. Never heard of Monoke? So they make some decent, I guess, higher end keyboards. I do like them. They're a pretty small group that runs out of, I think, Malaysia or Singapore, but they're pretty fun. I mess with Raspberry Pis, Arduinos, robot, RC kit, 3D printing, Lego robotics, computer programming, card and board games, tons of stuff. I think that's good. Being eclectic and curious about the world, I think that says a lot. I think that's really good to be that way. If anything, that reminds me of my wife. I mean, for a while, she was just taking random college classes because of where she works. She could afford to do so for pretty much nothing. And yeah, she is taking the most random things on her course list. Just whatever interested her, she just did random stuff. Huh? I'm not familiar with that emote. I'm an old person. I apologize. Yeah, solder's getting cut. I would like to get an FPV drone, but I'm on a budget right now. Costs $200 or $300 to get in the hobby, and it's basically a very basic setup. I think I only have like 2 friends that are really into the DIY scene of drones, and they for a while were trying to drag me into doing it too. But yeah, kind of don't want to get into drones and stuff like that, especially on Long Island. Things are a little bit tight. That's where I live, by the way, East Coast. Doing things early in the morning because I'm a dad. It is what it is. That's the problem with like keyboards and other hobbies like audio. They're fairly expensive hobbies, so usually they're a little bit exclusive as far as how you want to do things, unless you're just sort of there for the ride. You're just there taking your time, that's one thing. But budget friendly in some of the hobbies, especially with all the shiny things that are going on and all innovation, it's kind of hard. I have to say, I do like the soldering iron quite a bit. It's fairly efficient, it stays hot, it heats things up pretty well. There's a drone simulator so you can play with it for practice. It's hard as heck to learn in the beginning. Learn crashes dozens of times in the first few hours. Sounds like most flight sims. Although, there's one flight sim that doesn't seem quite like the others, and that would be DCS. Like a life simulation game, I want to say, for people that had not been in the military that wanted to fly a military aircraft. My friend had tried to drag me into that. It was like, get your VR set up, get your HOTAS set up, get everything set up, and come join us. I'm just like, this is literally too much. Like, the starting procedure, having to like have an actual manual next to you to try to figure that out, it's too much. It's too much. More power to you if you like that level of simulation, but yeah, that struck me as being a bit too much. These pads are so big. I'm using so much solder on them. But they're very nice and easy to reflow. I don't know how I feel about this. Or at least it feels like they're super big. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being old. All right. So soldering is pretty boring. And overall, I think building keyboards is just more or less therapeutic. So I guess I'll just talk about soldering for a little bit, since I think it's a fun topic that not a lot of people really think too much about. But if you know the basics of it, you're basically heating up a surface, being the pad and the pin, and you're basically flowing metal onto both of those, and it fills the void. And it has flux to help two things. One is to get rid of oxygen, so you don't have unwanted oxidization. And two, it assists with capillary action and transferring heat from one source to another. In this case, your soldering iron to not only the solder itself, but the two surfaces. And then the solder will go through the path of least resistance towards the heat. Because it's happening in an environment with flux, it will continuously sort of bubble and stay put. It's interesting, the properties of actually watching it happen. All right, I did say I wanted to change this to stepped. I'll change it to step before I forget about it, before I solder it in and then have to get the solder sucker out later. And this is even though I'm using it as a function button. I kind of still want to have all my boards similar. And honestly, I think step caps lock just looks better. All right. Just another fun fact about soldering is since you're heating up the pad and the pin, you're not really putting solder onto the tip of the soldering iron itself. You're letting the heat from everything else around it melt the solder. So even though the tip is, what, 350 C in my case, what's actually melting the solder is the heat off the pad and the pin itself. And then a good technique to use is what I'm doing. You see I'm coming from opposite ends wherever I am. So rather than feeding the solder in at the same angle, I'm feeding it in from the opposite side towards the heat source, because that's the way the solder will flow. What else can I say about soldering that I find interesting? I guess the interaction with Flux and everything else. You mentioned modded Minecraft earlier. I used to do modded tutorial videos and I had about 8K subs. Nice. Yeah, a lot of people just want to win at Minecraft, so you know they'll just go for tutorials, and I think that's a pretty good thing to do, especially if you have a way to formulate it so it flows nicely and is easy to follow. Luckily, in the past, there's been quest books and quick ways to reference progression, and that seems to be what everyone likes to do recently. I mean, you can definitely get a lot of subs that way. Just look at Direwolf 20. I still watch that guy's videos from time to time, and I still don't even have time to play Minecraft myself. Like making factory stuff, yeah. I think that was my favorite part of the game to do, was as soon as I figured out, what was it? I forget the name of the mod. I remember ME drives and different storage options, the ways to store material equipment. I became addicted to making networks of those things and making sure all my friends had supplies through that network. And then I tied the factory system that would process everything into that. So pretty much it just got mined, processed, and then was put into that system. And then another system that I really liked was the way Mechanism went about ore doubling, tripling, and quadrupling. That was a lot of fun. Play Feed the Beast and Tech It. Yeah, I liked Feed the Beast quite a bit. Some of my friends really like playing the magic mods though, so from time to time I'd have to play those to get the forestry mod and everything else going. Yeah, Feed the Beast was a pretty fun one. That brings up memories. I might actually have to try to find time to create a server with my friends again, just to have, like, I guess it's mostly a dad server now, where we'll just log on like maybe one day a month and play. I'll link to my tutorials. My content is still up if you haven't made a video in years. Yeah, send me a private message with that, because I don't think linking is allowed currently with the modules I put up. I forget. I'll definitely check it out, because I don't know. Usually when I'm just lubing switches or something, I could always use new content. Or if you have a unique channel name, you can just put that in chat too, and I'll pick it up. Grumpy Gamer IP. Or Grumpy Gamer Rip. Grumpy Gamer LP? Oh, okay. We'll take a look for that. LP as in Let's Play. Ah, I got it. Got it. TKLKING24. Thank you for the follow. Well, soon I'm gonna have to stop soldering to figure out this bottom row. I still haven't figured it out. I've been thinking about it as I've been trying to talk. and it hurts my brain every single time I think about it. JS Dead one nicer keyboards. Is this Def one of the nicer keyboards? I wouldn't say it's nicer per se. I just think it's interesting because it's almost a full-size keyboard, and you rarely see full-size keyboards in the hobby as customs. Usually, you'd see custom keyboards being like a southpaw, and in this case, this is almost a full-size keyboard. It's just missing some of the nav column. But yeah, that's one of the not nicer of the custom. Am I misunderstanding? This is definitely one of the nicer keyboards. Yeah, it could be considered that. I don't know. I think it's a good middle of the road for what it is. But I haven't built it yet, and I still want to hear it. KBD is a manufacturer? Yeah. Oh, one of the nicer KBD boards. I would think so. I think I got you now. I am a little bit slow at the reading and comprehensions. It's almost 2 o'clock here. I need to get moving on the soldering. All good, man. Two here. You can get it? Yeah, you're East Coast too? Nice. Nice. Yeah, I just do stuff like this at night because this is the only free time that I have anymore as a dad. Have a kid, they say. It'll be fun. Have 2 kids, they say. It'll be great. Except for your hobbies and free time are gone. But that's fine. I love my kids, but I do like having my hobbies and keeping my brain active in stuff, so. Needless to say, I still want to do stuff like this because I find it fun. Yeah, one board from KBDFans that I thought about joining for a while was their Maja V2. But I'm actually only looking for an Alice, not a Risu layout. And I think that's the only reason why I didn't join that one. What's the next keyboard I will be building if I have it planned? It'll be Freebird 60 from Cubes for All. A simple gummy or small O-ring tray mount board with the middle stands removed. That will probably be on Thursday if it arrives. Just because I wanted to try some budget stuff out and maybe get my friends into the budget keyboard hobby game, you know? Because I've been sending them just random things I happen to build. Why not give some of my other friends something that they could possibly want to build in the hobby too, you know? What do you like about keyboards after you build them? Usually I just bring them into work. You know, I have keyboards, I'll bring them into work, just use them because I type a lot of emails and stuff. When I'm at home, I'll try to game with them if I have time to game, but that's rare nowadays. But yeah, basically I just take them in my office and use them. Since I can shut my door if they're loud, no one cares, and I'm happy. I get to type on something nice, rather than the horrible membrane budget bin Dell crap that they always give me. And then sometimes if I don't have a use for them personally, I'll give them to friends as like gifts, I guess. My friends are probably now getting sick of getting keyboards as gifts, but I'll keep doing it. Don't tell them that. Northerner Dog, thank you for the follow. should always do some soldering kits. If you like soldering, let's make one of those LED cubes. Yeah, I could. I thought about making similar things like that for my daughters, since they're young and they like sparkly things. But then I can't help but think that whatever I get them will inevitably be destroyed. And if I'm giving it to them and it's not a well self-contained thing like a keyboard, I'd have to probably switch over and find a eutectic solder that's lead-free, because I am using leaded solder at the moment. And the reason why I'm using leaded solder, if anyone's wondering, it's what I grew up using. I'm just an old person, I guess. I don't know. Silver solder is harder to work with. This is actually eutectic silver solder. I'm actually using Cardus quad blend. I think this is pretty easy to work with. But since it has lead in it, it definitely makes it easy, you know? And if you're wondering why I have silvered solder, it's because audio gear. If I need to repair audio gear or build an amp for myself or something, silver solder, because why not? No expense spared on audiophile nonsense. Well, in this case, some expense spared on it, because there's way more expensive solders that you can get than just Cardus. But in all actuality, I mean, solder is solder to some degree, as long as it's decent 60-40 or 37, you know. It's all fairly easy to work with, unless it's the horrendously cheap stuff. I also have some Kester down in the basement too. That was fine. But I just keep going back to this. Putting lead in silver solder kind of defeats the purpose. A little bit. In this case, audiophile stuff, they will look at the electrical conductivity of silver and say that is better for your signal, therefore you should be using silver. That's their logic. So. Because they used to have a tri-eutectic. They stopped making it in Cardus as a brand, and that was a lead-free solder. But I guess they had issue with the eutectic blend where it probably wasn't consistently melting and staying tin-free for long enough periods of time. That would be my guess, but I'm not really sure. I just know they no longer make it, which made me sad because I probably would have used that. Winding down to just need to figuring out this bottom rail. I'll have to flip the board over and get some keycaps out because I don't remember what goes where. All right. Let that go back to sleep and figure out this bottom rail nonsense from this. Control. Now it's this control. I think. And do I have another one for that? The 1.5, right? I guess I'd have to put shift down there. Is that the right size? I think that's the right size. Feel reverse, whatever. Check the fit. Yeah, that's correct. I think it's this and this. The bigger one. Is this even the right size keycap for this? I almost feel like I should just be using these. That's definitely not big enough though, is it? Or should they both be shifted over there? Well, that's as far over as that can go. I'm gonna put this alt on it, and this space bar. So I guess it is one over there. Or is it this one? And then top plate goes over there, I think. Is this the layout? I guess that makes more sense, doesn't it? I'm gonna debate. I don't know. All right, let's grab the top. Bottom. So it does have a gap there, and I think that will work. If not, I will take it apart, desolder it, and then do the thing with it. All right, whatever. That's heavy. All right. And extra sanity check. Yeah, okay. Almost done soldering. Wait. That was inside, right? Why did I throw them aside if I knew I was going to have to pull them out again? Yeah, okay. Enough re-guessing myself. Time to solder. If it's wrong, I'll just have to rebuild it. That's all. All right. Need to pay attention especially to the bottom rail because Swiss cheese layout. All right. I think I've soldered everything. I think I did an okay job, so I guess I will pre-call it the victory and retin my tip and put away the soldering iron. Just joking. I will retin the tip by cleaning it up and putting a little bit of soldering on it. letting it burn, send smoke signals out for a few seconds, and then cleaning the tip one last time. Looks good, nice and even. Put it in the sleeve. Turn the soldering iron off. Time to test, see if I did good or not. And I guess I can turn off the fan, which is a relief for me. Hopefully you guys didn't hear any of that. And turn crisp off. Hopefully I no longer sound like I'm underwater. Alright, JST connector. What did I do with that? There we go. Plug it all in, see if it works. Guess I'll throw VIA up on the screen. Alright. Plug it in. Could not recognize. Did something happen? Now it works. Interesting. Test metrics, layout. Why is it triggering but not showing? What's going on with this? Why would it... What? Backspace does work. Was it because I remapped the key? I don't know. I think it works. Not sure why it's doing that. Interesting. Alright, well, moving on. Uh-oh, I can hear one of my kids has woken up. Let's see if that now becomes my issue as well. Apologies to my wife in the meantime. Sorry. Let me move this out of the way. And let me bring out a little bit of cleaning solution. Piece of paper towel. It's not cleaning solution. PE foam wipes. Turn that off. And here we have some 99% isopropyl alcohol. Clean up the flex. Get that nasty stuff off the back of my board. Looks like I might need to get some more of the larger applicators. I'm running low in the bin here, but just going to do a quick job of trying to get most of the nastiness off of here. I'm not going to get everything off of here, but I probably will open this board up, play around with it, and if I end up tape modding it, which I might, I'll actually spend more time cleaning it. But it's a black solder mask. With an angle of the light, it's pretty easy to see where the flux residue is. Looks pretty gross. Move on to the next one. And in case anyone's wondering, the reason why you want to clean up backs of PCBs like this, because flux is pretty nasty stuff. It gets a little bit corrosive to metals over time. It's not really designed to be left on. There's no clean flux, which you could in theory not clean it, but I always recommend that people clean PCBs with, at least 97% pure isopropyl alcohol. Just for safety, and so you don't have the stuff just sitting on the back of your PCB, maybe causing a problem a few years down the line. Probably take a few years for anything to really come of it if it were to become an issue, so at least you have that to think about. So that's one less thing to worry about, and a little bit of cleanup does go a long way to getting most of the residue off, so it doesn't get too bad. Like I said, I'm not doing the most careful cleaning, mostly because I heard one of my daughters, so usually when one starts waking up, another one might wake up, and if that happens, I'd have to bail and finish this some other time. So I'm not really sure why I'm hurrying up. I guess just out of caution, just so I can get somewhere good to stop at rather than in medias res. But yeah. Alright, the noise has calmed down. Maybe I'm in the clear for the moment. Maybe. I'm running out of the big applicators. I have another bag of like another 500 I'll need to pull out at some point. Need to stretch my neck. Not moving my head enough. Could also use some tea, which I've placed over there to get away from my soldering iron. But before that, after I'm done moving all the soldering stuff out of the way, I'll need to wash my hands. Don't want to get that nice, yummy lead and flux flavor in your mouth. That would be kind of nasty and probably not great for your health. I do like this board's solderability. This was a pretty easy board to solder. The pads were nice and big. That's also, I think, a little bit of a weird point, is the pads are so big I felt like I needed to use more solder than I probably would have on other PCBs. So that's an interesting, like, weird trade-off for the buildability of it. Ease of building. Buildability. That's not a term. Now I think about it, this is actually my first KBDFans board. Huh. Interesting. Guess that says something about my buying habits for other boards. Not sure what it says, but it says something. So in the near future, besides the FB60, which is a more budget, beginner-friendly board, I also should have coming in a few other boards, being Block 67. In theory, that's supposed to ship out of the UK sometime. That'd be cool if it does. And Portal 65. That should be shipping sometime too. Really looking forward to the Portal because that was an interesting board with, I got a rainbow PVD brass weight on the back of it, which should be nice, reflective, shiny, and rainbow. Yeah, I'll put that next to my Thera 75 with the rainbow weight on the back of it too, and I'll have two rainbow backed boards, which would be interesting. And then I guess we'll have to see what else comes in, because I'm not sure when other boards and stuff are supposed to finish up their production process, but you know, whenever it happens, it happens. But at least I'll have a decent backlog of boards, I think, so should end up okay. Just doing a few spots that I'm seeing. Alright, now that I've lost everyone's interest that was watching, I'll call it done and we'll start putting this together after I move all the soldering supplies and crap out of the way. Alright. Tip tenor. Fold these up. Throw that down there. Yucky. Pick that up later. Let me get the fan out of the way and wash my hands. Okay. And now we get to put it together. Nice. So do I need these for anything? I was gonna show somebody, I'm not sure if they're still here, the part which you need to clip. So if you can see on this little baggie here, this thing has these little legs that are sticking off the bottom. It's gonna be hard in this reflective bag. I'll open it. So if you can see the little thing that's sticking out, that's not uniform like the rest of the bottom, that is the part which you need to clip off. And most people do it like a 45-degree angle, so you can get the bottom pretty much as smooth as possible. And the idea there is it's less things to bounce against the bottom of your board and sound weird. But I did not realize that the Odin came with stabs until I opened it up on stream, but by that point I had already said I'd use other stabs. And generally I'm just going to use other stabs because why not? Alright. And Odin is a pretty nice looking board. How long does it take to assemble a keyboard from start to finish? So if I was to do this off stream as fast as possible for like a 60%, I could probably get it done in a satisfactory manner in about like an hour and a half. With messing around with things, if you wanted to try different configurations, tape mod, foams, and things like that, it can be a never-ending process. But, you know, it's a sort of, you know, whatever you put into the hobby is sort of what you get out of the hobby. Alright, I need my torque bits. Making a mess over there, that's fine, I'll clean it up later, don't worry about it. Alright. So this is T6, is this what I need? I think I need T8 for the outside case. And then I think I need a T10 for the inner. Yeah, T8. Put that in there so I don't lose it. Like your music selection and your kind of Bob Ross at keyboard building. I wouldn't say that. A lot of people use jazz and smooth stuff. It's all sort of, I guess it's part of the hobby in a way. There's one famous streamer, Teha from Teha Types. Mr. Kim uses smooth jazz music quite a bit. And as an audiophile person, as a person that just likes listening to music, I can appreciate it. When I started streaming keyboards, I was doing the typical gamer thing of blasting, you know, whatever music I could, mostly being electronic stuff, older electronic stuff from Monster Cat. But honestly, I sort of like the slower, easygoing vibes, especially for keyboard building, because I do find this to be a pretty therapeutic hobby, so to speak, where I can just sort of take my time, build stuff, and have fun. And chat with people. I do like chatting with people. So I'm going to need to put some gaskets on. Then after that, I can start putting this together. Oh, and I also need to put the daughter board in. I can't forget that. Only keyboard builder I know. So you're also the worst keyboard builder I know? Thanks, man. That means a lot. If you want to see some other better known and probably better keyboard builders, one guy that comes to mind is Mr. Enamashiki, Mr. Frank. He he was here earlier in chat. It's probably still around. He volunteers to mod for people. He's an excellent resource in the community, and he's an all-around good guy. So if you want to see a more hype stream with different keyboard builds, yeah, I recommend checking him out. And I need to find the feet. I don't know what to do with the feet. Where are you? Stab pads, random parts. Aha, found them. Put these in the bottom. I do want to get the bump-ons on the bottom for the feet, just so I don't have to worry about scuffing this brass weight. And it's in here with the supplied Torx. A lot of the brands will have some sort of small tool to help you out. Pretty deep cutout for these. And they just fit in, pressed with adhesive, and they're in there. Nice. Again, not really sure when I'd use a full-size keyboard, but they always come in handy. And since tax time is any time now that I feel like doing my taxes, I'll probably use it. At the very least, I'll use it whenever my mother comes around and wants to check my work and my taxes, because that's usually the way that she is. She'll want to make sure, double check all my numbers and figures. So yeah, she'll have a keyboard that resembles more like the keyboard she's used to typing on, which is a good thing, because otherwise she might start freaking out. I've been thinking about streaming, but haven't decided on the content I want yet. I was thinking about streaming a variety of things. Yeah, it's one of those things with streaming. It's very hard to be recognized and get a following. I think it might be easier for you if you already had a following from YouTube to come over to a platform like Twitch, just because the discovery tools really aren't here. Where, you know, on YouTube, for example, you have the almighty algorithm, and that gives pretty decent selections for content and things. But Twitch kind of doesn't really have that yet. It's weird. They have recommended, they have front page, but that's about it. Okay, gaskets. But as far as content goes, I mean, you know, pretty much as long as you like what you're streaming, I think that's the big thing. A lot of people can really tell if you don't actually like what you're streaming, and I think things become harder at that point. For you and the audience, in a way. Alright, let me... Oh, these are not cut out all the way through. I always feel bad about ripping gaskets out this way because you could stretch them out slightly. But since they're not cut all the way through the adhesive in the back, I'm going to have to. Man, this cutout is super tight to the size of this. Okay. Be a little bit janky, but whatever. Yeah, and talking a lot and engaging in audience support and job too. Too many streamers don't even talk or not enough. Yeah, I definitely think a lot of people probably fall in the hobby of just streaming to themselves and for whatever reason, just sort of not really engaging or talking. So if not much is going on, it's sort of hard to say anything. And being able to fill air, especially when you don't really have an audience yet, is definitely difficult. I could see where it'd be very disheartening to a lot of people. But at the same time, I mean, it sort of is what it is. Like, I probably lost a bunch of people when I was just soldering, but there's only so much things you can say about soldering if you're soldering. It would feel weird if you're engaged in too many conversations while soldering. Oh, that's not aligned. But yeah, I definitely feel like I definitely fall into the category of possibly not talking enough while streaming. But usually, again, I sort of stream for myself in a way. I just find it fun to do, just to talk to random people that drop by and say hi and stuff. Never hard time talking. You can just talk about anything you like your dog or a movie or something you just saw. Yeah. But invariably, as a dad, things will come back to kids. I talk a lot. I don't know. Like, I used to watch some of my friends stream back when they had more free time to stream, like before they had kids. And I was always amazed, just by how they were able to bring stuff up more naturally. And for me, myself, it's just, I just get in the habit of doing things and talking about certain things. Usually, like when I'm soldering, I try to remember to talk about group buys or things that are coming up in the community that I am interested in. But oftentimes I fall short of that goal and just focus on soldering because it's a task in front of me, And this hole's very close to this gasket. I wonder how that's going to impact it. Hopefully it doesn't impact it negatively. Let me put this in my lap and continue on with the top, because we need to put gaskets on the bottom and the top. Actually, can I find somewhere to put this? Well, now that this is here, I can just set this in here like this. There we go. Oh, that's going to bottom out. What kind of iron do I have? I have a Hako FX 951. So I also have this. This is a TS 100 soldering iron. This is like a 30-watt iron. And for keyboard hobby, this is probably all that you need. This is small, this is portable, this is USB-C powered, importantly, as well as a barrel plug connector. And this does everything that I really would need for soldering in this hobby. But being kind of a gearhead myself, I decided to get an overkill solution, so hence the Hako FX 951. And the main reason why I like it is it has the same ceramic interchangeable tips. It heats up very quickly. It's a pretty efficient soldering iron too. And I honestly just sort of like the ergonomics of having a thinner soldering iron. Because you could get the previous Hako Budget King for about the same price as the TS100, but it definitely feels big and unwieldy and old. If that makes any sense. But, you know, soldering iron gear is all personal, and if you're only going to do 1 or 2 builds, I mean, no reason to go expensive. But since I keep building things in this hobby, and oh man, this is going to be a pain to get these in here. I missed your answer. Ad break. Oh. Hopefully ads are over. Ads over? Sorry about that. I don't schedule when I play ads. It just sort of tells me. Yeah, so I use the Hako 951. I have also this little TS100 30-watt soldering iron. Importantly, it's USB B or micro. Yeah, micro and barrel plug. So it's a little easy portable soldering iron that does everything that I would need to do for soldering in this hobby. But being a gearhead, I decided to get the Hako 951. And the main advantage over like the old venerable Hako 888 that used to be everyone's go-to is it has this ceramic integrated tip with the heating element in it. It heats up just so much faster, and it also just is ergonomically much easier to work with since it has the same pencil style holder. And honestly, I think it's all around a better soldering iron. But it's an overkill for this hobby and many others, but you know, I like gear, what can I say? And I am going to spend time squishing these gaskets into place because they're not cut all the way through. Like I usually like seeing gaskets on 3M strips, but they're perforated enough that I can pull from the top. And the main thing is that they're slightly stretched out now rather than just pulling out everything around it. So I'm just going to gently try to pull, push, and scoop the gaskets into the alignment holes and hope that it is good enough. If this board is more sensitive to it and I have to take the gaskets out and replace it perfectly, that'll just be unfortunate. But I'll take the time to do that off stream because I will need to actually concentrate and do that. Oh yeah, another thing that I'd like to do gaming wise sometime is I bought the MMORPG from Amazon a while back, and I have yet to even play that. I bring up MMORPG because I'm of the age that I played WoW quite a bit growing up. And in college, I did raiding. And then after college, I did raiding. No need to have everything on top line. Only need to buy good stuff if you like it a lot. I was only going to buy a cordless drill once last year. Ended up getting a cheap Black & Decker. I was going to use it daily. I get a DeWalt or a Mikata. Yeah, that's true. Honestly, this is like, I'll usually have a solder build whenever I can. I do like soldering, so it's one of those things where, excuse me, I tend to, I'd rather buy something once rather than multiple times. And I know I probably wouldn't need to buy more than the TS100. However, this way I don't have to keep buying soldering irons or tips. Well, I probably will have to buy tips because it has interchangeable disposable tips like that, but oh man, is that good enough? I don't know. Let me try to get this off before glue sets. These gaskets are going to be probably a little bit wonky, whatever. Let's hope they're good enough. Yeah, because honestly, if I wanted top of the line, just buy basic Weller. Weller's a good brand if you're on the budget. That's true. Because honestly, for a while, I was thinking about getting a whole station with a hot rework side as well. But I don't do nearly enough SMD stuff, so if I did more SMD stuff, I might actually consider buying something like that. But hopefully not, because SMD is kind of annoying. Okay. Even if you have the right equipment, SMD stuff is kind of annoying. But yeah, Weller's a good brand. I think that's the actual brand of soldering iron that I learned on way back in high school, shop class. I'm actually going to try text by trade. I hate SMD too. Yeah. And then you know all about the wonders of J standard soldering, FOD, and compliance and ESD and everything. That's always so fun. Alright, well, these gaskets look like they're hopefully good enough. Let me move the PCB. I'm going to need to do something to the bottom of this. And to preserve flex, I'm probably actually going to have to do some taping to the bottom of this, but first I need to get the JST connector in here. And for that, I'm going to have to remove the bottom. Is this T10 or T6? T8? T8 works. Nice. BJ is the worst? Yeah. I don't know how people deal with that. Since I'm in quality, it's one of those things where, generally people just test it and see if it works or not, then troubleshoot and hope it's not that. It's interesting seeing all sorts of random problems that happen. Alright. Here's a little tray that comes out of the bottom. That just holds the daughter board and the JST connector in. And then I'll have to feed it back through. That's fine. And we have 4, looks like Phillips head screws. Easy. And they gave me an extra screw. Nice. Always like when brands give you extra screws because you never know when you're going to just lose one. especially since I didn't bother to bring out any sort of magnetic parts tray, which would have made my life much easier probably. Actually, most techs don't even do BGA, usually train new rework to do BGA, at least where I've worked. Yeah, BGA is no fun for pretty much anybody. A lot of places won't even handle it anymore. They'll actually sub out a lot of the work. They'll just get boards and stuff in piece parts and then just go from there. Okay, so interesting choice. They have their daughter board connector upside down, and that's interesting. Wonder if they have like an ESD pad somewhere else I just didn't see to connect to ground to the case. Okay, yeah, it actually looks nice and flush in there. So the benefit of having a daughter board in this case is to get it, the USB connector down lower, mainly for aesthetics. So, and with it down lower, it's out of the way. With that out of the way, you don't have to worry about seeing a cable connector and having things look weird. Alright, tighten that in, feed this cable through, and there it is. I see the holes, connector comes straight up through. Need to swap out this head again. I always do cross patterns when I can, finger tight, and then once I get them in, I'll work them down tighter. I do like the fact that they're using Torx on the interior and the exterior, and they only have to use Phillips a few places. I do like hex and Torx better than regular Phillips plus pattern screws for the most part. I feel like I'm less apt to strip those out. Alright, tightening. Don't want to go too tight because it's just whatever metal they're using, in this case aluminum for the case. It'll be hard enough, but let's not go too hard. Put that to the side. And then I did mention I want to use some tape on the bottom of this to prevent electrical connection and shorting. Oops. So I have some unwiped tape. You need more channel point rewards. Yeah, I don't really, I don't know. I haven't really thought of anything yet. Alright, this just needs to be approximate. I don't think I have any channel rewards set up yet. I know it gives you points for stuff. I haven't figured out what I want to do with any of that, though. Being perfectly honest, I mean, I don't know. I've seen people do stuff like hydrate or, you know, push-ups or things like that. I thought about push-ups, but honestly, I am old and I did push-ups in an earlier phase of my life. Have to take a shot of whiskey? That sounds expensive. So my drink of choice happens to be Glenlivet 18, so that would be kind of pricey. don't have it by my computer for any specific reason. I'm not an alcoholic. I like to drink sometime. And there's a big bubble in this tape. Oh crap. Ugh. Can't deal with bubbles in my tape. And I'm doing this just to tape up the PCB to try to make sure that I don't need to use that much foam, if any. In this case, I'm not trying to use any. I just want to put this down to prevent unwanted electrical connections from happening. Doesn't need to look too pretty. I can't deal with too many bubbles in it. Gonna have to notch that out, it looks like. I don't know. Now I think about it, a lot of channels have like a hydrate option to make the streamer hydrate. I don't know how I feel about that though. Give over my bodily autonomy of drinking water on my own. Or in my case, tea. Because usually I end up drinking tea when I stream. Now, let me just cut this in the most idiotic way possible. This looks like a big enough cutout, I guess. Looks terrible enough to be my handiwork, and it's big enough. Sweet. Is my wife Korean? No, she's Chinese. She's Chinese American. Because why not? Spread the genetics around. Melting pot and whatnot. I thought about getting a Korean wife, but I don't really speak Korean. I'm like Korean in name, so, or in looks, more or less. That's about it. And all in all, you know, I'm just sort of an easygoing guy. Stuff like that really doesn't bother me. I think if I had a Korean parent, they probably would want to see me get a Korean wife, but yeah, I kind of didn't really care about my parents' wishes so much. I just wanted to be my own person because my mother, after all, just wanted grandkids. So now that I've fulfilled that goal twice over, she can't say anything else to me. Okay. And now I need to figure out how to cut this. I guess I'll just cut it right down the middle in half. Arts and crafts hour over here. I should really just get another roll of tape with different sizes. I thought about getting different sizes, like similar to how you'd use Joe blocks and wet things together, but yeah, kind of lazy about it. That's good enough. It'll have a little bit of overlap, but it'll work. So I don't feel like spending the next hour cutting another piece of tape just to size. All right, so this should prevent shorting, hopefully, of the board. And that will be enough so I don't have to use foam. Let's see if this works. I am a little bit worried because this JST connector is so long. I don't know if it's going to get like stabbed and skewered since it's not like protected by anything. Can I like stuff it and hide it down in the hole? Not really. Huh. I can already feel something stiff over there. I wonder if that's a connector. Work ethic and traditional values. Yeah, I think a lot of people are probably like that though, especially people that are in America. I think it should be okay. Definitely feels like there's something over there. Wonder if I can hide it better. Can't really hide it anywhere. They don't really have a good channel cut out for it. I might actually have to do some clipping and trimming of that. Try to figure out a better place to put that. Because I definitely feel something stiff over here about where the JST connector is. And just knowing that it's there will bug me. I wonder if it's actually the JST connector itself on the bottom. I don't know if that's preventing it from bottoming out. Doesn't sound that different. Alright, let's put it together, see what's what. Worst case scenario, if I need to use the foam, I need to use the foam. It is what it is. Won't be the last time I'd have to use a foam in a board. Are these the right size screws? They are. Wonderful. Alright. Let's put it together so I can display my very slow typing skills on stream. Hooray. Alright, I always do the cross-shaped X pattern here. Okay. Overall, I think this board is quite the looker. Usually I don't like full-size looking boards anymore, but for a board that's pretty much full-size, I actually do like the way this looks. The only thing that I might try to see if there's an extra 4, I'll show you on the front as soon as I'm done screwing it in, is the front badge. The front badge right now is acrylic, of course, to show off the LED underglow. However, I think it would look better if it was this solid brass color. Alright, I won't tighten it down the full way because I know I will need to open it up at least some point in the near future to mess with it. Out of curiosity, if nothing else. And let's turn it over. And we need keycaps now. Full size, I have big hands. Nice. Yeah, there's something about full-size keyboards. They hit different because they're so long. Like a lot of keyboards are just 60%. And a lot of people like that because it's a nice rectangle profile. But so is a full-size keyboard, you know? Escape. F12. This keycap set is GMK white on black. It's one of my all-time favorite sets if I don't know what else to do with the board. And because this is a big board, originally I was considering for work, I wanted a key set that was a little bit less flashy than some of the other keycap sets that I own. That and white on black just goes with everything pretty well, in my opinion. Oh, throwing keys. Okay. You should shuffle the keys first. Yeah, it's okay. This just makes it a little bit easier for me to do. I do have the keys memorized, but this way I don't have to shuffle through then try to figure out what's what. Some of the bigger streamers and people that have built tons of more boards can just sort of do it from popcorn in a bag. Like they just put all their keys in a bag when they're done storing because these trays are actually terrible. Yeah. So that's a thing. Feels like cheating? Eh, nothing wrong with a little bit of cheating. Especially because right now it's 3 in the morning for me, and if I don't get to bed soon, I'm pretty sure that'll be the end of my streaming career because my wife will come down and then everything will be not good for me. But I endure for you guys. Okay, I actually sort of like the sound. It has a fairly poppy sound to it, even though it has polycarbonate plate. It's not the most poppy, but it has a little bit of pop, but it has the deep bottom out too. These stems are super tight. So, if I hadn't mentioned before, I've gotten these switches, or I should say most of these switches I got out of an old keyboard, a pre-built board that I bought from a brand called WASD a while back. It was from a Code V2 keyboard, and the keyboard was pretty nice, but it had clicky MX screens in it, which I don't like much anymore at all. So I've switched them out for these nice linear black stems from another set that I had previously made into a Franken switch, which means you're taking part of a switch and you're throwing it together with another switch. So in my case, I was taking the stem out of MX Black Hyperglides, and I was changing it with a Novel Keys cream stem, a long pull stem, to get a specific sound out of the keyboard. So that means I had extra stems laying around. So I've switched them out, and I've corrected the very clicky green nature of the keys with now nice black stems. I'm missing these 2 keys. Gonna need to get these from down below because I like barred keys. Recently I built a keyboard with scoop keys and it was interesting. Not my favorite typing experience, but I could still use it. I just felt like I was always missing them though. Okay. Very, very long shift on the bottom, because I do think this looks good. Ooh. Okay, I might need to use that foam in the bottom after all. That's bottoming out. I'll have to be a little bit careful with it then. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use the foam to stiffen it up, unfortunately. Right now it has a little bit of flex and bounce to it, but if just normal typing would probably be fine, but I don't know. Feels like I can definitely bottom out this board without trying if I get animated in typing an email at work or something. Telling people that they can't do certain things, that they have to file the right paperwork, saying that I'm not going to approve their MRB, various threats and the like. Alright, hopefully I got this bottom row right. Sweet. Sweet. I did. That sounds pretty good. I like. And it is the correct spacing. Oh, I'm glad that's the correct spacing. Otherwise that would be a headache and I'd have to desolder, resolder. Whenever I have to desolder nowadays, I feel like cheating in a way of breaking out the FR301 and just using that to desolder everything. Even if it's only a small amount of switches. But realistically, I have the good old solder sucker on standby because that's probably the actual tool you should use. That's pretty tight tolerances with the housing. It's not actually rubbing, so I should probably try to force it up a little bit. Yep, okay. Print screen control. I'm gonna have to plug it in because I'm not sure what this top row is about. Uh-oh. No, it's not starting up. So I think I probably borked something with the connector then. Alright, I'll have to troubleshoot that in a moment. That's annoying. 0. Looks like I have to manually move this around a little bit. Yep. Alright, almost done, but then I'm going to have to unscrew the JST connector again. What I have up here, delete, I think, for this one. Is this the right profile? No, this is the right profile, right? So I had insert, delete, so this should be the correct regular sizes. Okay, and then I forget what these are. It's fine, let's figure it out. After I plug everything back in, you have 2 keys backwards. I do? What do I have? M and N? Did I put these backwards again? Because I was really looking at it like, do I? But now I need to unscrew this. Alright. I do want to get this working so I can at least do a typing test tonight. Since you did me the honor of sticking with me. Do you want to return the favor by at least doing something keyboard typing related? How old am I? I'm in my mid-30s. Just your average keyboard dad. That's about it. You're 51? Oh, okay. Alright. Top plate. I should actually just flip this directly over so I don't have to get confused later. Let's lift this up. Is the JST connector just loose, or is it? Is it still on there? Alright, let's try plugging it in. Connectors at the bottom, connectors at the bottom. It does fit in. Alright, let's just try a loose like this. If I plug it in. Small Chungus, hey, how's it going? I don't know what different chat color names mean. Nope, no clue. So why did it not... What? Why did it not register then? Now I'm confused. So is it alright the first time? Okay, this JST connector feels weird. There's like no locking connector, or... I don't know. It feels weird, man. Alright. Yeah, I think you can even change your own color name if you really wanted to. Just try to move this alignment a little bit. Make sure I don't have anything rubbing. No, I don't think it does. Okay, that's as far as it will move this way. Interesting. Okay. Forget how to do a status like new viewer or sub. No, I think it's randomly assigned. I think you can pick exactly what you wanted to, but yeah, I don't think I'd ever do something like change the color of chat or something like that. Seems a little bit weird. You must be this color of chat if you're new. It's like, no. Alright. Try putting these back in cross pattern. I am holding the board up a little bit just so when I'm screwing it in, I don't have to worry about the plate moving around so much inside. So I don't have to worry about alignment issues on these sort of loosey-goosey placed gaskets. So how are you doing tonight, Small Chungus? Welcome back to the stream. Just woke up a few hours? Nice. Well, good morning to you. Writing some firmware during breakfast. Fun times. I'm hopefully finishing up this keyboard. I just tried to plug it in the first time and it didn't turn on, which is spooky. Now I'm thinking I might need to tape in the JST connector to make sure it doesn't pop out, because it seems like it might be the looseness of it. But anyways, let's try plugging it all in and see if it works now. It works. Cool. Alright. Now for the rest of the keycaps. No clue what I'm going to put up there. Scroll, pause, page up, page down. Scroll. Pause. Page up. Page down. Do I have page down? That's the right profile. I do. Yes. And then I need one more for this. I guess I put home there and remember that it's caps lock instead. I'll probably be very confused at that later if I'm at work and my brain turns off, but that's okay. Alright. Why do I have leftover keys? So the keycap set that I have, GMK white on black, has a lot more layouts and options that it can use. It's not specific to just this build. So, num blocks on, caps lock is on, because the indicator's over there. And I'd set this to caps lock. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's change the lighting down a little bit. Lighting, I guess I should show what I'm doing with VIA right now. So VIA has a bunch of different layouts and options. I'm gonna choose the lighting to turn it down a little bit. Rainbow effect's fine, but it doesn't need to be up full. I want to see my keyboard, and this will probably be good enough. Let me pull up the typing test, monkey type. Alright, I made that a slimmer size, that's fine. And the heater has started. RIP. I will not be able to do typing test while the heater is running, but I will get the mic set up 1 second. Okay, we're set up on the keyboard mic. I will sound quieter. I'll need to get my wrist rest because I'm old. I type with a wrist rest. I know it's not great for ergonomics, but it is what it is. That test seems pretty small now. Do I dare go and try to figure out how to do it on live stream? I probably shouldn't. What is it? Browser view? Is that what I called this thing? Oh, probably shouldn't be doing this on stream. Whatever. I'll figure it out later. This thing should probably be a little bit bigger though. Yeah, I did call it browser view. Yeah, doing it on stream would be a little bit too confusing for me. I am old. I apologize. I'll fix it off stream though. Probably, if I remember. It's a lot of conditionals. Let me have some tea. Whenever the heater would like to stop, we can get going. Guess I can pause the music now, preemptively. What tea am I having? This is Fortnum & Mason Earl Grey loose leaf tea. I found that I really like Fortnum & Mason tea a while back, and I've continued drinking it. I've converted my wife from being a regular tea bag drinker to be a pinky up drinker of Fortnum & Mason teas. Nice teas, English. The other tea that I have in the house right now is their breakfast blend tea, because everyone needs a classic English breakfast blend tea if you drink tea, I think. But previously my wife would just pick out whatever, cheap tea that she thought she wanted. And I was not having any of that anymore, so I just started buying my own tea. And she started drinking it, and she always asked me to make it, so some impact was had, and I feel better. Alright, the fan's shutting off. Let me take my headset off and let me get to typing. Apologies in advance for my slow typing speeds. I am old, or at least I keep claiming. Whenever it actually shuts off. There we go. Whenever I'm recording my typing test, just know I have to put up with that thing as well. This mouse clicks keyboard level. Ew. That beginning. That's bad. Let's redo that again. Next test. Again. Yeah. Well, I'm cheating. I'm using a black cherry pie on the spacebar. Mouse clicks, keyboard level. Okay, that is too loud. Might need to make some of my own. Yeah, sorry. Router decided its fan wanted to go on, so I had to abort. Pretty sure you had all the ingredients. Yeah, I'm using an H1 bottom, a cherry top, and a regular novel keys cream stem. I can't talk anymore. I need to get to bed. I think they sound pretty nice. What? Why do you click the mouse above the keyboard? So, usually speaking, mice and how loud they are fairly uniform. So, it's usually a good way to show the natural level rather than try to describe in decibels what I see and hear. Because everyone's ear is a little bit different, if you can understand about what a mouse click sounds like, that's usually a pretty good indication for the level that the keyboard is then outputting sound-wise, because it sounds so subjective and weird. So it's just trying to give everyone a point of reference. So when I do this, most people know what a mouse click sounds like about this distance from you. Ugh. I did not improve my speed. My typing's terrible tonight. Apologies. I'm getting tired. This is what the mods sound like. It's rubbing a little bit here. I need to move the plate. You can hear it bottoming out. When I'm typing normally, I can almost feel it bottoming out. I might need to put the foam in the bottom of the case, which sort of hurts me because a little bit of bounce actually doesn't feel that bad. And putting the foam in there would deaden the board as far as bounce. It would probably also deepen the sound a little bit too. I have to say this board already sounds on the deeper side, which is interesting. I didn't really expect it to be too deep. So I think the space bar in this sounds pretty good. Yeah, like even on, row 4. This is actually built with the polycarbonate plate. The other alternative was the brass plate, and I personally am not a fan of brass, so I decided to use the polycarbonate. Yeah. I did have the foresight to tape the bottom of the case, but that was about it. Let's play some more music. Let me get the case foam out right now, put it in here, and see what it does. Get it a little bit late, but I at least want to hear what it sounds like because I'm curious. And my wife will yell at me, but that's fine. And I'll feel dead at work, but it's Monday. I always feel dead at work on Monday. Hey. So at least I can say I tried this board without any foam in it, and I'm not 100% sure that it works without foam. At least I don't have plate foam in it, so that's a little bit less sound dampening that's happening. I think with plate foam in it would sound pretty quiet. But overall, I'm actually impressed with this board. This is my first KBDFans board, and it sounds and feels alright. I kind of wish it had more space or had slightly different setup for that, but that's about it. Yeah, turn it this way. Get the foam out. And after all, this box looks mighty fine. Plug the JST. Actually, kind of leave it beneath. It's not a lot of area to plug, but that's fine. This is gonna feel firm now. Feels bad, man. Alright, try again. Alright. Last chance, and then I need to go to bed. Ugh. Typing. The typing's firmer. Still a little bit of give, not too much. Interesting. I'm going to have to keep typing on it for the next few days and see what it's like. But it's almost 4 a.m. I need to get to bed. And that's about it for me, unfortunately. Well, thanks for sticking with me. How many people do we even have? Can't imagine many has stuck around. Yep, thanks for sticking with me. I'm not sure if Enamashiki's still there, if there's anyone that would like to be rated. I don't know. Only 6 viewers. I'm probably just going to go to bed because it's almost 4. Feels bad. But thank you guys for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll be building another one later this week probably. Freebird 60, like a cheaper introductory version of a 60%. Yeah, good luck with work today. It's today. Glowstar, thank you for the follow. Unfortunately, I'm going to sign off for tonight, though. Yeah, have a good night, everybody, or a good day, depending on where you are in the world. Catch you guys later. Bye.